Welcome to Community Talk, a public affairs presentation of the MSA United Way and Super Talk 1270. Now your host, Jenna Gullo.
Hello, Bismarck Mandan, and wonderful good morning to my parents in Western New York. The best parents anyone could ask for. Very grateful for them. And a good morning to co-host Ms. Amber Jensen, the Operations and Marketing Manager at United Way.
Good morning, everyone.
So, Amber, we've had a busy season in TikTok. Just a couple more days to get those year-end gifts in.
Yeah, so hopefully the United Way staff aren't listening or making phone calls
No kidding.
to anybody that hasn't yet given yet this year.
And if you want to volunteer, we are all set to have you stop into our United Way office. We have 2,056 phone calls that we are planning on placing between now and December 31st. Because it's really important. People have so many different options, and they want that tax deduction before the end of the year.
Yeah, I've made a few calls already this morning, and I've had one person that was really interested in the 40% tax credit. And I think, we've just seen a lot of people really take advantage of that this year and in past campaigns as well.
And so that is, for anyone listening, if you as an individual or you as a business want that tax deduction, you get a 40% North Dakota tax credit. So a gift of $5,000 ends up probably costing you closer to $1,600. And the nice thing about that tax credit is you get to carry it over for up to 3 years. So maybe you've taken your tax credit for this year, but you still want to help contribute and help us reach our goal of $2.6 million for our area. You can still do that. It's not too late. You just have to get the check written and in the mail. So it needs to be postmarked by December 31st.
Yeah, and you see a lot of people that have been giving around that $2,000, $3,000 mark and is just easily able to bump up because of that tax credit. And was it last week when we found out about that other new tax law that came in place for those that are 70 and a half?
Yes. Thanks for bringing that up, Amber. It's almost as if it was scripted, but it wasn't. You're just super smart. So last week, exactly, a new law was passed. So if you're 70 and a half or older, you can take a deduction from your IRA, and it can be tax-free if it goes directly to a charity like the United Way.
So does that charity have to have a certain endowment, or it can just be transferred over for anything?
Yep, just transferred over to that 501c3, but it can't go to the donor and then to us. It has to go directly from your IRA account to our United Way. So you can do one of two things. If you'd like to make a year-end gift and get that extra IRA deduction out, then you can just give our office a call or have your financial manager do that. Or if you've already taken your deduction for the year, then you can pledge it now and be a United Way hero, because we have not yet gotten to our goal of $2.6 million. So help us get to that goal and take care of all the community needs. You can pledge it now, and then you can pay it in 2016. And that's with any type of a pledge.
And so you mentioned community needs. What are some of those biggest ones that we're still looking to get to our $2.6 million? What are some of those big programs that this extra funding will be able to help?
Well, first of all, we're still looking to raise $20,000 to be able to help seniors in Bismarck and Mandan, actually all of Burleigh and Morton County, to be able to make sure that those who want to stay in their own homes are able to get the meals delivered to their homes. And what's really nice about the United Way programs is that it's free for any single one of us. It's absolutely free. It doesn't matter what your income level is. If you need these meals, if you're just getting out of the hospital, or maybe you had a fall and you can't be cooking for yourself, or you're trying to take care of a loved one, you can get these meals delivered to your home every single day. And if you can afford to make a donation, absolutely, please do. But there is no fee for these services. And I tell you, you don't know when you might need a United Way program.
Yeah, just talking about the meal delivery program, we had a family that we learned about a couple months ago that when they started using the meal delivery program, it was because the wife no longer had really motion of her legs. And so they came from a family where the wife did the cooking, the wife did the cleaning, and the husband was the one that was out working on the farm. And so when they came to that point in their lives, it was, do we go to a nursing home and have somebody cook those meals for us? And they both weren't at that place. They were, otherwise very healthy. And so it was a really big turning point in their lives to be able to stay in their homes and get those meals and that extra assistance so that they could continue to live together where they, raise their family.
Well, and who wants to be in that situation, or who plans on it? You absolutely don't. Sometimes it's just your lot in life, or it's your parents that are needing the extra assistance. So if your parents or grandparents are getting help through Burleigh County Senior Center or Mandan Golden Age, those two programs are still needing $20,000 to the United Way to be able to cover that meal delivery service. The thing about it too is, people don't realize that when you give through United Way, your dollar at United Way is oftentimes matched by a federal grant. And that's how Burleigh County Senior Center works. They receive $1 from United Way, they turn it into $6. So people can give direct, absolutely. But when they write these grants, there needs to be a federal match, a local match for their federal dollars. And so that's why giving through United Way is so important. At YouthWorks, I remember Doug Herzog used to always talk and say they turn $1 from United Way into 10.
Yeah, and also with the collaboration piece of them all working together, we might give YouthWorks, $1, but then what they provide there might also be helping somebody at Abused Adult Resource Center or Welcome House. And that partnership of all these agencies working together is really another value add.
Well, and a lot of times donors don't know who to give to. They don't know how their dollars are most needed in the community. And quite frankly, you don't just want to give to a good heart. You want to give to a program that has results and that's driving at those coordinated efforts so that we're actually solving problems. And that's what we're targeting at United Way. So if you have not given yet this year, the online address, you can click on your computer right now. It's msaunitedway.org, msaunitedway.org. Or you drop off your check. We're located at 515 North 4th Street.
Give us a call. We hope you will give before the end of the year.
Yeah, even $5. I was talking to someone this morning. They gave me $5 to sponsor a United Way backpack. Make sure a child does not go hungry for the weekend. $2,000 covers a full weekend. We have the Dolly Parton Imagination Library Program. Sponsor a child for an entire year with free books delivered to them every single month until they're 5 years old. $25. So what can you give? Can you give to our endowment fund? Gift of $5,000 will only cost you $1,600. Multiply your impact. Come back. We're going to be talking with Julie Dahl, a member of our Women's Leadership Steering Committee.
Right now, 12.
Weekends with Stacy Keach, Richard Syrett, and Leah Laporte on Super Talk 1270.
Hello there. I'm Jenna Gullo. I'm the Executive Director of the MSA United Way, and co-hosting with me today and always is Amber Jensen.
Good morning, everyone.
Listen, we've got to say thank you to everyone because they have just been extraordinary. We're not done with our campaign yet. We have a goal of $2.6 million. We're almost there. We're not quite there yet. So anything, if you haven't given yet, please go online to msaunitedway.org and give $1, give $100, give $1,000, give $10, give $20, give $30,000, give $40. No, I'm just kidding. Whatever you can afford, because it really is invested wisely in our community.
Yeah, and we've really seen that giving come out during this Christmas holidays, and so we can't really say enough about all of those that helped bring gifts and bring joy to all of those in need in our community during the holidays.
Well, and we literally had over 1,700, close to 2,000 Christmas gifts donated through United Way and delivered to really poor children and struggling families in our community.
Yeah, we had Basin Electric. They took, I think, 30 tags again this year. We had Eye Clinic of North Dakota. We just happened to be presenting there one day and talking about all the needs in our community. And they said, how can we help? Raising their hand, saying, we want to help this family and make sure that they have something as exciting for this holiday season as everybody else does.
Well, and we had a young couple that adopted, quote unquote, adopted a family because their mother just passed away after Thanksgiving. And the daughter, who's in her late 20s, became the new mother of these young kids, a 5- and 6-year-old and 15-year-old little boy.
Yeah, it really can happen to everybody. The people that United Way helps, it's your friends, it's your neighbors, it's the person that lives down the street. You just never know. Like you always say, you never know when you're going to need United Way services.
Yeah, and people have to realize, too, that our admin expenses are excruciatingly low. I think our last audit, we were at 3%. That's too low, to be completely honest, but it's because we have a small staff. There's only 6 of us that are actually employed. We target Bismarck and Mandan because that's where the majority of our dollars come from. However, we cover and provide services to a 10-county area in North Dakota. So all the surrounding counties, including Burley and Morton. And we also have individuals who have raised funds or sponsored programs outside of the Bismarck-Mandan area. So we are now bringing the United Way Backpack Program to Beulah. We're bringing it to Hazen. We're bringing it to Linton. We've also started the Dolly Parton Imagination Library in many of these small communities. In fact, we were working with the North Dakota Petroleum Council, and we're just talking with the Tioga School District Superintendent this morning. So they're starting it out there as well.
Yeah, I think once people learn about the programs that United Way has and the ability to make it work in their communities, there's a lot of things that we do here in Bismarck-Mandan that are also really easy as long as we can get that fund and that commitment to keep it going, like the backpack program or the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, to make sure that those kids also have the needs outside of Bismarck-Mandan.
Yeah, so like us on Facebook. We're at Facebook.com/MSAU Way because we do post a lot of needs throughout the week, local families and people who are just needing that extra hand. But we also want you to go online to msaunitedway.org. If you're listening in and you want your community to have the United Way Backpack Program or the Imagination Library, we'll get you all set up and tell you what we need to do to get that there. So we wouldn't be able to do all of this incredible work, hands-on work, and touching real lives without our Women's Leadership Circle. And one of the steering committee members there on the WLC, Ms. Julie Dahl, is in studio with us today.
Hello.
Hi, Julie. Julie, you've just been an awesome contributing member of our Women's Leadership Circle, and you've really seen it grow these last couple of years that you've been spearheading a lot of the efforts. So tell me, why should women out there join the WLC?
I think there are so many reasons for women to want to be part of the WLC. I guess probably I would focus on the opportunity to work with a great group of leaders in the community and immerse yourselves in opportunities that you might not have the exposure to otherwise. That's been a huge opportunity for me.
Well, what I love is that you get things done. We tell you, for example, we'll share our needs assessment with your steering committee. We'll say, well, only 29% of kids in Bismarck and Mandan feel they have a positive adult role model. We talk about the reading statistics of 40% of our low-income population. They're not reading at proficiency level by grade 4. What does the WLC do? Start an awesome program, hands-on program that is spreading like wildfire throughout Bismarck and Mandan. Talk to us about the Adopt a Classroom program.
Well, the Adopt a Classroom program is just a wonderful program. We've adopted 6 classrooms in one of the local elementary schools. With the program, we have volunteers going into the classrooms 2 days a month, the second and fourth Tuesday, and we spend about 2 hours each time that we go in. This opportunity, it's just as valuable to the volunteers as it is to the students themselves. But during the time that we're on site, we spend time with the students in their classrooms, have opportunity to work on one-on-one with students or work in groups, and just get exposure to them and hopefully have the opportunity to have a positive impact on those children's lives.
You know, I was visiting with Teresa Crest, who volunteers there, I think, every opportunity that she can. And someone, you know, was asking her, how do you have the time? Or you know, what drives you to make you want to go to the school every other week? And she said, you know, I go on vacation and all I think about is work. You know, I go out on the weekends and all I think about is work. But the moment I get to that classroom, I am focused on those kids. I really want to make a difference. You know, and she has a kid that's older and she has a kid that's younger. But it's just an opportunity for her to get there, know that she's making an impact on some of those kids' lives. And I actually had to fill in for Teresa one Tuesday, and they were like, you're not Teresa. I'm like, I know, Teresa's gone. And so those kids really look up to those mentors, and they mean a lot to them.
Mm-hmm. I know the excitement that you see on the kids' eyes when you show up in the doorway. And I think I have lunch dates for probably the next 2 months of who I'm going to sit with. And you know, that's an important time. I think just getting to visit with the kids and hear what's going on in their lives and what's important to them and what maybe challenges they're facing. They so look forward to that attention.
So, Julie, that's the school that you go to is one of the higher poverty schools in town. And are there ever times where you're just taken aback by situations that those kids are struggling with?
Oh, very much so. There are times where the conversations that I'm overhearing or the questions that the children are asking me just make me dumbfounded that it's situations and circumstances that kids shouldn't have to be facing. But the reality is it is their reality. And so you look at it from the standpoint of how can you help them, even if it's just being there and being a listening ear. But hopefully through the mentorship and in the program, we're having some impact that's going to be positive on their future. Whether that be improving their reading skills, whether that be just keeping up at grade level, or whether it just be having a positive influence.
You know, when one of our staff went and volunteered at the beginning of the school year in the kindergarten classroom, and they had a student, you know, was writing with their right hand and writing with their left hand. And so some of these kids, you know, they ended up having to ask the teacher, is he right or left-handed? And, you know, she just responded, it's probably the first time he's ever held a pencil. And those are some of the students that you guys are able to impact here. I mean, help them figure out, are they right-handed, or, you know, help with their writing. If they're writing the A the wrong way, help them fix that so that they can be successful in life. And so I think just having that impact and having you guys there to recognize it. I mean, these teachers, I don't know how they do it. It is a hard job. And so to have that extra support in those classrooms is really key.
Yeah. And I have to say, I have so much respect for all of the teachers in our schools. What they do with our students is amazing. But you're right, that extra help very much is of benefit.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell, too, the children that aren't getting the love and attention at home, that they're just yearning for that when they get to school. And when you have 18 to 25 kids in your classroom, there's only so much of one teacher to be able to go around.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was talking with another school because we're still always looking for other people to get involved with the Adopt a Classroom program. You know, the Women's Leadership Circle is just kind of really taken it under their wings and made this grow. When I was talking to another counselor at Jeanette Myrie, and, you know, I said, do you want somebody to come help read and tutor? Or, you know, what is your biggest need? She said, can they just come eat lunch with my kids? They just need that one person to talk to. And so I'm working with the business right now to see if we can make that work. But some of these kids, that's just what they need, is that one person that they can sit down and eat with.
Well, and Julie, you also do more beyond that mentorship and tutoring and reading in the classroom. This last Christmas, you helped deliver Christmas presents to those children.
Yeah, I think over 60 gifts went to that particular elementary school. So
how much fun.
Mm-hmm, very much.
And also, your Women's Leadership Circle through United Way does drives every month. And tell us about how people can get involved in that.
Oh, certainly. Each month we've worked with the social worker at the elementary school regarding what the needs are in that particular school. And so each month we have a drive. It's posted on the Facebook page as well as the website, correct? And with that, for the month of December, we were collecting gift cards that could be used, gas cards, grocery cards, or retailer cards that could be used to help the families out or to be given as gifts. I think the prior month we had a warm weather gear drive. So each month those are posted and people can contribute in that way if that works for them as well.
Fantastic. For more information on the United Way's Women's Leadership Circle, call us at 255-3601 or go online to msaunitedway.org. Are you wondering where to give this holiday season? Want to make a big impact with your donor dollars? Then talk to someone at United Way. We have a spectacular board of directors, incredible contributors and volunteers that help to keep our admin expenses low and help to decide on where your dollars are needed the most. Or you can designate to a certain program or agency, and 100% of your dollars go there. You are listening to United Way's Community Talk. A special thank you to Super Talk 1270, allowing us this airtime, donating it every other week. You can find us here from 11 to noon, co-hosting. With me is Amber Jensen, the Operations and Marketing Manager at United Way. And listening, you are listening to Jenna Gullo. That's who I am.
Good morning. It is early.
It's too early, but we've been going. We've been going all morning long trying to get in some last-minute donations. We have 3 more days until the year end.
Yeah, and so one of the biggest things, if you're looking to make a big splash at the end of the year, or you're visiting with your tax preparer and trying to find ways to maybe get those tax credits, make sure you check out the North Dakota Charitable Tax Credit. Get that 40% credit that you can give if you make a gift of $5,000 or more.
Yeah, it has to be directed to our endowment fund. And a gift of $5,000 can cost you $1,600, and so you can multiply your impact. You can also just do a gift to a specific program. For example, United Way is combating hunger. We deliver over 20,000 meals to more than 200 students in Mandan for the weekend so they don't go hungry.
And the other thing that we were talking about in the first segment was also the new tax credit for those that are 70 and a half.
Yeah, so if you're 70 and a half, you can take a deduction from your IRA. You can take a withdrawal. If it goes directly to a charity, it's tax-free. And if you can't do that for the calendar year of 2015, you can pledge now. It counts towards our goal of $2.6 million, which we only have 1 more month to get to it. We're almost there, but we really need everyone's help. So you can pledge now and pay later. And for any pledge that you make to United Way, you have through 2016.
Yeah, and if you're listening right now and you're saying, I'm 70 and a half, or I could really use that tax credit right now, and you don't know much about the United Way, definitely give us a call, 255-3601. Visit our website, msaunitedway.org. Our tabloid just came out in the Sunday paper, so make sure you grab that paper, read it, and then know that there's multiple ways that United Way reaches our community. Jenna mentioned the 20,000 meals that were delivered, but there's
just
so many others that we do.
Yeah, that was just to Mandan. In Bismarck, we deliver about 57,000 meals to kids in elementary school, and now we're starting in middle and high school as well.
Yeah, and so it's not just the elderly. We, United Way is across all gamuts that we help in our community. We do some emergency assistance work, but there's also so much more at making sure that we get to the root cause of these issues.
So we send home the backpacks with the kids, but the larger issue really for our community is why are the kids going hungry in the first place? So now we're sending home case managers to many of the homes of these at-risk kids who might not even be coming to school. And we're finding out some just crazy stories. People living in their cars last year. Now, because of United Way case management, they have apartments, and the parent is working at a better job, and they have health insurance for the kids. We have another family who is so struggling to get by, a grandparent who became the guardian of her 2 grandkids that wasn't anticipating that. She had saved up for her retirement, and one thing led to another in their lives, and now she has to take care of these 2 young kids. And if not for our food programs and our food pantries that we support, she wouldn't be able to make ends meet.
Yeah, because a lot of times you're just not prepared for those changes that can happen in your life. And so if we can be able to raise those funds to help these people so that they don't continue that cycle of poverty, I just think that's so important. You know, the one program that I really like, and you kind of touched on before, is the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. And I don't have kids, but I can only imagine the excitement every time you get to check the mail that one time a month to get that book.
Yep. And, you know, it's only $25 to sponsor a child for an entire year. That's 12 books that are mailed to their home. United Way does all the admin for free. And so we can even bring this community to areas outside of Bismarck-Mandan because we've brought it to Linton. We're helping out Napoleon. We're helping out Flasher, Wilton, you name it. And we're able to do this because of generous donations from people like you. So know that your gift is going where it is really needed and will impact those kids. Because if they're going to learn how to read, they need to be prepared for school. That's how they're going to do their best. They need to be reading proficiently by the 4th grade, because if they're not, they're 4 times more likely to drop out of school. So getting them started at such a young age is so important, and it's important for the parents to spend quality time with those kids.
Yeah, you know, you just have that one opportunity to shut off the cell phone, turn off the TV, and just read with your kids, and knowing that that will make such a big impact in those kids' future is really big. And so again, if you're really looking to make a splash this holiday season, make sure you visit our website, msaunitedway.org. There's a button right on the corner that says give, and it's really simple. You can do it right there on our website.
And because of generous donors like you, our United Way has mailed out 225,000 books to over 8,500 children in the Bismarck-Mandan area. That is phenomenal.
I was going to say, that's crazy.
What a
that
gift.
is a lot, yes.
What a gift. And so you can do that by sponsoring our Dolly Parton Imagination Library program. And if you want to bring it to your community, please give us a call. We are at 255-3601.
Yeah, and you know, that program is open to all income levels. But like Jenna said, if we can sponsor that child for the $25, or if you can sponsor your child and another child that maybe can't afford it, we really can use that help so that we don't ever have to start a waiting list for that program, because we know that there's such an importance for getting books into the hands of those kids.
Absolutely. And, you know, when we were talking about the elderly, we want you to know that in Mandan, nearly 90% of the 769 seniors that we served this past year who received basic health care. And so we are talking about blood pressure screenings, foot care, diabetic care and management, you know, making sure that these seniors are getting the health services that they need to stay out of the hospital, to stay out of the nursing home, and to really reduce costs across the board. So 90% of these seniors actually were able to stay independent and in their homes this last year. And these are just the seniors that we've served just in Mandan alone.
Yeah, and if you're not able to help us support one of these programs, I think next to giving of your funds is also giving of your time, which is also really important as we get to the end of the new year and talk about, you know, everybody maybe just volunteered during the holidays, and making sure that you continue that throughout that new year. Make that New Year's resolution to be giving back and giving of your time. I think that's just as important.
Yeah, absolutely. You can log on to our website at volunteerbisman.com. And you'll be able to peruse the different volunteer opportunities. Right now at United Way, we're needing help with phone calls. We have not yet reached our goal of $2.6 million. So if you can spend an hour at our office, we'll give you a list. People who typically have given at some point in the last 5 years, we're going to be calling on them, as well as new donors and new businesses out there. We need your help. Become a United Way hero for an individual. It's only $500, and you have all of 2016 to pay on that $500 pledge. We just need your commitment right now. If you're a new business in town, you can have that fancy little sticker, that window cling to put on the doorway of the entrance of your building and show everyone, all of your patrons, that you support our community through United Way with a gift of at least $1,000.
Yeah, or become a premier sponsor. You know, we've had 6 businesses this campaign that have came on board and became a premier sponsor, and you might be seeing them around town or hearing them on the radio. They get either a month's worth or 3 weeks worth of radio ads with Town Square Media. So again, we appreciate all the support that we get from Town Square, but they also get a billboard. And so for $5,000, you get the month's worth of radio and you get a billboard for a whole month. Again, just showing that you give back to the community, that your employees are very engaged in what the issues are in our community, and you're trying to find ways to solve those. And so it gives a really positive message. And so we thank those that have came on board for that $5,000. But if you want to get involved, it's not too late.
Yeah, go online today at msaunitedway.org and know that 99% of your gifts go to work right here in our local communities. We primarily serve Bismarck and Mandan, but we have programs that cover our region, which is a 10-county area, including Burleigh and Morton County. So also know that our admin expenses are excruciatingly low at 3%. So our donors and our board of directors, you, in fact, are the ones deciding where your dollars will be directed. Agencies that we support, they have to collaborate with others. They have to work towards common goals for our community. They have to be identifying and addressing a gap or an important need in the community. And many of these agencies you may not have even heard of, but they rely on your dollars from United Way in order to exist.
And remember, if you pledge today or in these next 3 days before the new year, you have all the way until the end of December of 2016, to pay on that pledge. So if you maybe already committed too much this year, make your pledge and have all year to pay it off.
Yeah, give today at United Way. Go to msaunitedway.org and know that we drive at results. We delivered more than 46,000 congregate meals and home delivered meals, 38,000 of the home delivered to over 1,700 seniors this last year. We have more stats on our way. Come back in just a couple minutes. Thank you, Bismarck, Mandan, and the surrounding communities for donating to our United Way. We are still accepting gifts from you because we want to make sure we're covering all of the community needs. And, you know, a lot of times people might not know where to give, how to make the biggest impact. And I assure you, become involved at your United Way, and you will be so impressed with how wisely the dollars are used. I'm Jenna Gullo. I'm the Executive Director of MSA United Way. Co-hosting with me today is Ms. Amber Jensen, the Operations and Marketing Manager.
Good morning, everyone. And what I also like, too, is as a donor, you get to make those decisions. And if you get involved in the process and become more involved in United Way, you really get to see what the needs are. You know, we were talking with a young man this morning about, you know, they helped sponsor a child for the holiday season, and he's lived in Bismarck his whole entire life and really never had an impact or seen some of the things that happen in our community that maybe everybody kind of closes their eyes to, or it's just not where they're going to school, and so you might not see it every day. And so we talked about, you know, some of those high poverty schools are and what the needs are in the program. We'll be talking about the backpack program a little bit later, but I mean, the needs are just growing, and we really need the help and the support of our community to help reach those needs.
Well, and through United Way, we actually can solve some of these problems. So we're not just asking for more and more and more money every year. We're actually ending issues and preventing issues from starting in the first place. And I'll give you an example. You know, 40% of our low-income students in our school districts are not reading at proficiency level. 40%. And so what that means is that they are 4 times more likely to drop out of school later in life. What is going to happen to those kids? What is going to happen? 40%. Mm-hmm. You know they're going to get involved in drugs, alcohol,
teen pregnancy,
end up in jail. possibly like their parents have. And so at United Way, we're about breaking that cycle of poverty. We're about addressing the root causes, and we're giving less and less to programs that are just handouts. And I'll be honest, there's a place for that. There is a need. If for some reason you have a crisis, you have a fire, right? A home fire that could happen to any one of us, we will always support the Red Cross and make sure that they're there for people in need in our community. But when we talk about rental assistance, utility assistance, food, we want to make sure that we're doing something to help those families so that they don't come back the next month needing the same help. Our United Way Backpack program is one of those programs where we are taking care of that immediate need, because there's no one in town or even out of town that is okay with children going hungry, regardless of what their home life is. And so Kathy Walmsley is our camping coordinator here at United Way. She has taken over the United Way Backpack program and has expanded it to help hundreds and hundreds of kids in our community. You're reaching over 600 kids in Bismarck and Mandan, Kathy. And it's not an easy task, and thank you for taking it on.
It's very exciting to take on. It's one of my funnest parts of my job is to hear about all of these children and what the backpack program has and how it impacts them. Our counselors are the people at the schools that identify the kids that need these backpacks on the weekend that otherwise would go hungry if we did not pack these backpacks for these children. To hear the stories of these counselors saying that the kids come into the office and maybe even 3 times a day they come in on Friday to ask if the backpacks have been delivered. Over the Thanksgiving holiday, we packed early, and the kids came in and were talking about how scared they were that they weren't going to get their backpacks because school wasn't open on Friday, and they were going to have 5 days instead of the 2 days over the weekend to not get food. So to hear these little kids worrying about where their next meal is coming from rather than studying in school and sitting and concentrating in school, it's so rewarding. And then as Jenna talked about, how we're working on trying to make sure that we don't have these children following in the same sequence, and they can provide meals for their children. So very, very rewarding to work with these children.
And so if a business wanted to get involved, so we have people that can make a $5 donation to sponsor a backpack, but you also have had multiple businesses, and I think your calendar is filling up pretty quickly. But if somebody said, you know what, that'd be a great team building idea, or I want my company to get involved in the United Way Backpack program, what does that cost for those individuals?
It's only $2,000 to sponsor a weekend, and it is a great team building for that business to do. We do have a few openings left yet to do that, and if you are interested in doing that $2,000 donation and being able to fill the backpacks and help deliver to the schools in Bismarck, Mandan, it's a very rewarding and a great team building effort for your employees.
And there's a lot of times that businesses will do food drives. And so you have specific items that you're looking for, and that helps to reduce our costs.
Yes, we actually have had quite a few food drives over the holiday season, and people have been very generous in the Bismarck-Mandan area. So if your business would like to do a food drive, or if a school or just a group of kids in the community want to do a food drive, it really helps reduce our costs significantly.
Kathy, you were talking to me the other day about a student at one of our local high schools who was just was in trouble, really.
Yes, we had heard about a high school student that actually had got in trouble in one of the high schools and was in the principal's office, and they asked him, what's happening, Johnny? Why are we having these problems? And he said, I am just so hungry. So his response was he was hungry, so he was acting out because he just couldn't even concentrate because he was so hungry. So the first thing they did was supply him with a meal and then talked about the problem. So it is definitely a need, throughout all the young kids to the older kids.
And so we mentioned items, and so a lot of the things that we look at for the United Way backpack program, we can't put glass in the bags. We try to keep them to be single serving so that sometimes these kids have to walk home. They don't have somebody picking them up from school, and so we need them to be, able to provide a good meal and a healthy meal, but also not be the giant Campbell's soup can that a kid might not be able to get into. So Pop-Tops work really well. Peanut butter and jelly are really big items because we provide that protein. And if any business, we had a business, I think it was a couple falls ago, that gave us all of their apples from their trees. And so we're always looking for fruits and vegetables to try to keep these baskets and these bags as healthy as we can.
Yeah, I was at Basin Electric, this was 2 years ago, and was talking about the need and how kids are going hungry in our community, and that we started the United Way backpack program. Someone raised their hand, came up and talked to me afterward and said, well, how many apples would you need? They delivered that same day about 1,000 apples that we were able to include in our United Way backpacks for these kids.
That's a really neat story, too, about that, because one of the little kids was able to keep their apple, and the business that packed for us said, we will do this forever because of this story. And the little boy was able to save the apple, and that Monday when he went to school, he didn't have to go to the teacher's drawer to get his snack. He was so proud he was able to bring his own snack that day to the classroom.
Kids, that's the last thing a child needs to be worried about. They should be able to come to school ready to learn, eager to learn, ready to succeed. We know that's the pathway out of poverty. And yet 600 kids are worried about where their next meal is going to be coming from. We had someone at Bismarck Public Schools tell us that 3 times on a Friday, 3 times, a child came to the counselor's office and said, is today grocery day? I just want to make sure it's grocery day. And they had such anxiety because they didn't know where their next meal was going to be coming from. And the counselor just reassured the little girl, said, yes, it's grocery day. You'll get your United Way backpack full of food.
And we've been doing this for a couple years now in Bismarck-Mandan, but we've also expanded to be in Beulah, Hazen, and Linton. And so if you're listening in a surrounding community and you can, easily identify 5 or 10 students that you think could use this backpack program, give our office a call, 255-3601, and we can work out all those details to make sure those kids and that program is up and going in your community as well.
United Way delivers 20,000 meals to more than 200 students in Mandan so they don't go hungry on the weekends, and over 57,000 meals to students in Bismarck. We're going to be starting with 25 students in Beulah, 25 students in Hazen, and 30 students in Linton. We need your help. We need to end hunger. We absolutely, positively can end hunger in our community. But you want to give to domestic violence victims, make sure they have a shelter and the support they need. We helped over 1,300 victims of domestic violence last year and moving forward every year. Give to United Way. It's the most efficient way to make the best use out of your donor dollar. You can log on to msaunitedway.org. You can call us 255-3601. You can also enjoy and take advantage of the 40% North Dakota tax credit. Gifts to our United Way Endowment Fund end up costing you a $5,000 gift could only cost $1,600. Do you have $5,000? Can you multiply your impact? We need your help. Our community needs to stay great. We need to get ahead of a lot of these issues that we're seeing, and we're all here for each other. That's what they call North Dakota nice. So call us at United Way. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for helping us to reach our campaign goal. We're almost there, and we need you now.